Hey everybody, it's me, Danielle J. Mitchell, Queen of Real Estate. And if you don't know, I'm gonna let you know that I service I'm a PA licensed realtor, and I service the Philadelphia, um, city of Philadelphia, and the surrounding suburbs. That's what I want to say. I service Philadelphia and the surrounding suburbs. If you are, a little extra light. If you are interested, if you are in the area, if you need some help with finding a home, I'm your girl. Okay, I can help you. If you need help to find a home, find a property, I would love to help you. I think I'm a little brighter now. Yeah, we got a little bit more brightness. All right, a little bit more brightness. So, what do I want to say? What am I talking about today? I want to talk about how to look at a house during your showing. How to look at a house during a showing. Why do I want to talk about this? I want to talk about this. It was funny. I had went on a broker's tour slash open house, and I had went there, and some of the neighbors, it was supposed to be for quote unquote only the professionals and stuff like that, but there were some neighbors who somehow got in there. They somehow got in there, and that's fine. They wanted to come and check out the house. That's very common when you're doing open houses, brokers tours, and stuff like that. And so I was in there, and I had my vlog camera that I like to use, my handy dandy vlog camera, and I'm looking around at the space and looking at all the details and stuff like that. And what I observed was, it was funny. Some people were like, this lady asked me, she was like, "Hey, are you a realtor?" And I said, "Absolutely, I am." And she said, "Yeah, I could." And the guy said, "I could tell." I could tell just the way that you're moving in the house, just the way that how you're looking at things and going about your movement in the house and pointing out stuff and looking at certain things in details. I could tell that you were a real estate professional. And I felt very honored that they could tell. I felt honored that they could tell that little old me was a licensed, or they could tell or assume that I was a licensed realtor because of the way I was maneuvering throughout the house. Not just because I was capturing footage of the property, not only because of that, but also because of the details that I'm looking at, what I am inspecting when I go to a house. Speaking of inspecting, I've been to enough inspections with buyers to kind of have a way, and been through enough houses where you can kind of get an idea of what to look for, what you're looking at, what are the essentials, what are the most important things to look at, not just from uh, a workmanship standpoint, just the quality of work that's done with the house, but also the things that you want, that are big ticket items that you want to be functioning and doing well in the house. So let's talk about it. All right. How do you actually look at a house during a showing, right? If you ever walked into a home and got distracted with the pretty finishes, or didn't know what to look for, then listen, on this lunchtime live, I'm talking to you. And I also, what also inspired me to go live talking about how to look at houses, not just from that thing I just said before, but also because a lot of people love my vlogs. I've been getting, just really good views and comments on them. They love my vlogs. And so I was like, hey, let me talk about this process of looking at the houses and how it may be different from your typical person that looks at a house, right? Listen, remember to like, subscribe. Hello, Lyndon. Hi, how are you? Remember to like, subscribe. Remember to share this as well. All right. So, the biggest mistake I see buyers make when falling in love with a house is the surface stuff, right? So, like the staging and the paint, and totally missing out on the things that are costly, right? That are the costly things that are the big things, right? And so we're not just touring, but we're also evaluating. So when you go into these houses, you definitely want to not just tour it, but you want to evaluate what's going on with the properties. And so some of these properties are beautifully staged by some amazing designers, some amazing companies, which is wonderful. Just looking at the comments, making sure I don't mess anybody, which is wonderful, but you're not going to get that furniture when you buy the house. That furniture is not coming with you, okay? So you want to look past the beautiful staging, even the paint. You might keep the paint, you might paint over it, right? So let's break down how break the showing down into these particular layers with these checklists. Okay, so you have number one, these are the three layers, or for a showing strategy. So you have the first layer, number one, which is the emotional layer, the first impression, right? What does it feel like? The kids nowadays, people always like to talk about energy and vibe and aura. My kid always like, I got aura. I'm like, we don't say aura, okay? We don't say aura. You have presence, right? And so I say, people like to walk into a space, and how does it feel when I walk into this space? Does it feel homey? Does it feel like home? Does it feel like family? Does it feel like I can see myself here? I could grow a family here. I could work in this environment. I could relax and lounge in this environment. Does it feel like that? Can you picture your life here? Does the layout flow with your lifestyle, right? A lot of people who host and like to throw parties and have family events, a lot of them may like something more free flowing, more of a good layout, right? So if you're liking something more like that, you want to envision yourself there. How does it feel? How does it flow with your lifestyle, right? So the thing I want to point out is that don't ignore how it makes you feel, but don't stop there. So don't get stuck at the feeling of the house and how it feels when you walk into the house. Don't get stuck there. So number two, the practical layer. Okay, function and fit, the practical layer. So storage space, that's a huge thing. Closets, pantry, basement. Is the basement finished? Is it unfinished? Are you okay whether it's finished or unfinished, right? Size of rooms. Bring a tape measure. Now, you wouldn't think to bring a tape measure when you're first at a house or going to a showing, but let me tell you, it will behoove you to bring a tape measure with you when you're going to see houses um, out here. I would say just keep one in your car if you're house hunting, okay? Kitchen flow. Okay, you definitely want to know that. Bathroom functionality, where is it located? Some people don't like bathrooms off of the kitchen. Some people do like it. It could be something that's not a deal breaker for you, but you have to decide that for yourself. Parking, yard. Do you want a yard? Do you not want a yard? Do you want a big yard? Are you okay with having something smaller? Do you want grass? No grass, right? Steps, mobility needs. A lot of times when I previously had a client. I call all my clients forever client. But when we had bought her house last year, she has a special needs son. So she needed somewhere where I need accessibility. So it doesn't have to be necessarily handicap ready, but it needs to be set up in a way. The layout has to be in a way where it makes it easier for him to get in and out of the property. And so that was a big consideration when we were house hunting for her, right? And so one takeaway you want to remember: does the house work for you daily, not just on moving day? Okay, does it work for your daily lifestyle, and routine, not just on moving day, not just even when you saw the house and it was on a showing, right? Now, number three, the structural layer. The structural layer. So after you done got a feel for it, you got to feel it felt good. You looked at kind of the function and fit and practicality of it. Now you're looking at the structure, okay? The red flags in the structure. So look up at the ceilings. Look up. Do you see any ceiling stains? Do you see any cracks? Or when you're looking around at the walls, especially in the basement, are you seeing any potentially any foundational cracks in the basement? You're looking for musty odors, smoky smells. Particularly, you want to look for mold, moisture. Does it smell wet? Is it moistury down here? Does it smell mildewy down here, right, in the basement or in any room for that matter? Again, look for foundation cracks, signs of any leaks. You want to look at the HVAC. So oftentimes, and you probably heard me say that, oh, HVAC looks newer, looks like it's in working condition. Hello, hi there. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Please like, please share. So you want to look at the HVAC. You want to look at the electric panel. I love a beautiful electric panel where everything's aligned, everything's labeled, the wires aren't all jumbled, crossed up, crooked, looking crazy. But you want your electric panel to look neat. You want it to look like it has room to grow, right? You want to do all of that. What are you doing? I am giving some tips on how to, when you are a buyer, how to look through a house to make sure that you're not getting caught up in the quartz counters and you're not looking at the shiny lights, but you're looking at it from a full, well-rounded perspective. You're looking at it like a real estate professional. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So you want to look at the water heater age. So I make sure when we go down in that basement or wherever the utility items are located, I'm looking to see the year it was serviced. I'm in the Philly area. So that's in Pennsylvania. I'm in the Philadelphia area. I service the surrounding suburbs. Okay. Philadelphia, PA, Pennsylvania, United States. All right. Because, YouTube is worldwide. So I got to specify on the East Coast. East Coast side. All right. And so anytime I'm with my clients, I'm making sure that I say, oh, this looks like a newer water heater, or it looks like it's a couple of years old, or it looks like it's on its way out. It's about to die. Okay. I'm looking at the HVAC. Hey, this is an older one, but these last for 20 years or something like that. So I'm making sure I'm educating my clients. Now, how do I know this information? Because I've been going to inspections and doing these things for a long time. And so you pick up some tricks, you pick up some things right along the way. And so I'm able to, from my eye, no, I'm not a contractor, none of that. But because I've been doing inspections and around houses and all this stuff for a long enough time, you pick up on these things, right? Now, here are some things that you want to know or find out, even if you don't find out at the showing. These are some questions that you want to have in your head. You want to ask that listing agent. You want to ask your agent, your buyer agent. How old is the roof? How old is the HVAC? How old is the security system? How old is the windows? Was it newly installed? Do you have new ones? Right. You want to ask what's included in the sale. Are you willing to put in a refrigerator? Refrigerators are kind of and at least in Pennsylvania, at least in Philly, you might get a refrigerator, you may not. Right? So, those are the things that you want to ask. And then any recent updates and whether do you have permits for everything? You want to definitely, hopefully, if you can, find out beforehand about the recent updates and if there are permits on the property. There is, if you live in Philly, something called atlas.gov, I believe it is, or atlas.pa.gov, something like that, where you can actually look up the information on Philly properties. Okay. Your agent will tell you how long the property has been on the market, or you definitely want to look at it. If you saw this property on a website, you want to look for that, or ask the listing agent if you're like visiting an open house. Okay. So we have to do our due diligence. Okay. You may ask God, like, help me to find something, but let me tell you something. We also have to do our due diligence. Okay. So listen, drop an emoji of some kind if you ever toured a home and missed something important. Drop a comment. I would love to know. And tell me one thing that you look for when you're touring a home, or that you're looking for when you tour homes via the internet, via vlogs, via YouTube, via TikTok. If you like to tour homes that way, you like to see those like myself put out stuff in regards to homes and tours and all that other stuff. What are you looking for when you're looking at these homes? What do you like to see? What do you like for people to focus on? Because that helps me too. Because when I'm go ahead and make content where I'm touring these houses, I want to make sure that I'm giving you what you're interested in seeing. All right. Listen, if you're ready to tour with strategy, not just a vibe. All right. So DM me showing ready. Comment, DM or comment showing ready. All right. Or hit the link in the description, in the caption, in my bio. We'll build a buyer game plan, and I'll walk you through this process with clarity and with confidence. All right. If this was helpful for you, if this was helpful to and for you, please hit share, hit like, hit all the things, hit the comment, and I want to see you next time for a review. Quick recap: we're talking about how to look at a house during a showing and what buyers miss. Here are some tips for that. The first tip is the emotional layer, first impression, the practical layer, the function and fit, and then the third is the structural layer, the red flags, and the important things like HVAC, utilities, like cracks and foundations, all that good stuff. All right. For more tips and advice, you know what you need to do. Go to book.djmrealtyco.com to schedule a buyer consultation, listing consultation, and listen. That's it for this noontime live or lunchtime live. It's not even noon, it's lunch.